awarded to our county.
Great.
And then early in the year, we found out that our bank was being sold to RCB Bank out of Claremore, Oklahoma, and they have been very much in favor of us, going forward and doing what we need to do to get this process in place. And we had mentioned to them one of the things that we really felt we needed to do was to look at a platform where employees could, engage and have, activity tracking and whatnot. And we have so we were excited to kind of see what you guys had to offer. So that's a little bit about us and why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, great. So as of right now, you're not using a platform. This is kind of your first foray into that side.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay, cool. So let me understand a few more things about your group. So are you a fully insured group, a self-insured group? How many employees you have? How many branches or locations do you have, your different banks? Kind of give me some of that.
Well, we are now on RCB's insurance, so we're part of their organization officially. All of our employees will actually transition over to RCB probably early in the year of 2019. So we will be on, or their plan is self-funded, and there are going to be roughly 800 employees once we merge. And there are, I think, with our branches, about 60 locations with the merge.
So
we're going to.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we would like to do it with just the central bank, possibly,
just to kind of get our feet wet and see what what it's like. And
so to start off, we would be looking at something for just our 78 or
roughly 78 employees, and we have 6 locations currently.
Okay, great. Excellent. So, and then with your community group getting this money from Blue Cross Blue Shield, is that still available to you even though this merger has happened? Is that something that's still going to be an option for you, or is that all used up? What does that look like from a financial standpoint?
Oh, no, we still are part of the Pathways program. Even though we will become RCB Bank instead of Central Bank and Trust, we are still part of that program, and all of the tools and resources are still available to us.
Okay. So let me summarize the story you just told me to make sure that we've got this all understood. Okay. So essentially you've jumped into this wellness programming, a little over 16 months ago, around that time frame. And the biggest push for it sounds like to me like you're looking at some cultural initiatives, some opportunities to improve employee health and well-being and kind of happiness at work. From a claim standpoint or from an ROI standpoint, I didn't hear you express a lot of that. Maybe that's true. So if you want to jump in on that and share that, but it sounds like you're wanting to give employees a program that's worthwhile to them, that's fun and engaging. You talked about trackers so that employees can maybe compete with each other, track some of their progress. And ultimately, I think that from what I'm getting from you is you want employees at the end of the day, end of the year, what have you, to say, that was a great program. I've improved in this way or that way. I learned about my diet a little bit more and I liked it. You want to have that sort of feedback. So then if that's going well, then we look at saying, okay, is this something we want to take to our parent company of RCB and make it something that's more company-wide? And then maybe we start targeting more of that ROI based on the fact that they're the ones who kind of have the insurance funding on their side. Is that a good way to wrap this up?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Before we went on to their insurance as of 8/1, we were insured through the Kansas Bankers Association with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And, as far as an ROI, that was really completely off the table because there is no claims information available to us for our business unit because we're part of a group. We were at the mercy of every bank in that group. And so we could have had the healthiest employees on the planet and no claims, activity really to speak of. And we still get dinged with a pretty big rate increase because, 15 other people from 15 other banks had major heart attacks or strokes or whatever. So, we were at the mercy of that group. With RCB, however, they absolutely do look at claims because they're paying those claims. And that's part of the reason that, they're able to offer a a better program to us as employees because they're able to keep those claims under control. So definitely they're going to be interested in ROI.
Right.
For us right now, I think the main thing is, what can we do to make this engaging and get people excited so that maybe ultimately it can have an impact on ROI? Would you not agree, Katie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. I really like that perspective, and I like, I don't mind having a group that's a guinea pig. So thanks for being my guinea pig but just kidding. For you guys, I think that you have a greater opportunity for this to be successful, almost more so than RCB, because what you understand about central bank is your culture, the communities you serve, and so you kind of understand some of the needs and some of the benefits of what you can offer through your wellness program. And that's something that we like to do at WellSteps, is to really customize this and make this flexible for any group size. What we have found actually is groups of your size typically have some of the most passionate individuals, because you do have a stronger sense of community in your company because of the size. And so those are all things that we have to answer for when it comes to wellness programming, that we got to fulfill, because the smaller we get, the more that we've got to find things that work for those smaller groups or things that they're going to enjoy and like. So definitely we work with group sizes, so 78 is a fine group size. We can definitely work with you and offer you a great program. But thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your group. Any other concerns or thoughts or things that you want to share about your population? Any concerns about, some groups kind of want to bring up and want me to address, hey, we've got a population that's 50 plus or 40 plus and not many young people. And, we're worried about the technology and how we make that work. Anything like that or perspectives you want to bring up before we jump into this thing?
I'd say, I know our most recent age rating with Blue Cross, we were in the 45, I believe, to 48 range.
Okay.
But we have a good mix of age ranges, I would say. And honestly, even our oldest central bank employee has a smartphone and uses it, quite well with social media. And so I really think that from a technology standpoint, yes, we may have an employee here or there that, may need a little bit more hand-holding, but as a whole, I think our organization would adapt very well to some type of an app or a platform that they could engage with on their phone or tablet or whatever.
Great. And then one other thing, as you were saying that, I was thinking about over the last, 16 months or so that you've been doing this, 17 months, whatever that is, how have you incentivized employees to do this program, or have you done any incentives? Has this mostly just kind of been one-off events and maybe raffle gift card? Have you talked about incentives at all? Because I know that for many groups that becomes not necessarily a focal point, but it's definitely the backbone, because it's sort of that reason why employees initially get involved. First, we draw them in with extrinsic motivators, and once they get successful in the platform, that becomes an intrinsic motivator. But I'm just kind of curious if you've thought about that at all either.
We've done some programming, where we did some challenges and things like that, and they earned, gift cards too. We've got a really awesome local market here and gift cards to stuff like that. I think we've done some other
farmers
market bucks and things like that. That's kind of what we focused on, is things that could be applied toward a healthy lifestyle. I know the stuff that we've done has been, tried to geared toward, don't give them, free gift card to the local Italian restaurant, because they're probably going to choose lasagna and breadsticks and mozzarella sticks and all that garbage. But so yeah, we've tried to make sure our incentives are in line with kind of our outcome desires, is to kind of instilling and incentivizing more healthy habits, I guess, was probably about what we've done, but not a ton. I think we've only done three incentive type things. Yeah, I think we had three. I think we had three.
Great.
Let's do a fitness bingo, or let's do water challenge. And that's kind of the way our wellness committee has gone right now. So we really want to transition to more holistic at the individual.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We want them to be able to maybe work with each other and on their own be able to challenge each other to a water challenge or a financial budgeting challenge where they have 2 weeks to develop a budget for their family or something like that. So that to me makes a holistic program where we're saying, okay, wellness goes beyond just simply our physical health, but we talk a lot about emotional health at WellSteps, and a lot of part of emotional health is, technology affects our emotional health, our finances affect our emotional health, as well as just general overall well-being. And so We can even incorporate some of your tools. If you have an EAP program, we can use that to be marketed to employees who maybe are signifying on their health assessment that they have some emotional health issues. So those are just some of the things that we can do to make this more holistic. On a high level, of course, you haven't seen that yet, but we'll talk more about that as we move along.
Just real briefly, Ed, I'll tell you, with this Workwell Kansas, their program is broken down into kind of, I would say modules is probably a decent way to describe it. There's a different word that they use, but it's escaping me at the moment. But you know, there's a
foundational.
There's a foundational, basically like setting the tone for, you know, what do you want to accomplish as an organization, and how are you going to impact your culture and your environment. And then there's food and beverage focus. There's a tobacco cessation focus, physical activity, and then the other one is well-being, which encompasses the financial wellness and the emotional and mental wellness pieces. That's the one piece that we have not actually done yet. Right. Well, we haven't done tobacco because we have literally in our population of about 78 employees, we probably have, I think we have maybe two regular smokers and maybe one or two social smokers. We just don't have smokers in our workforce. So that's not been something that we've really pursued actively, because it's just not a huge concern for us. So I definitely think we were on the Workwell path. We would probably be leaning towards incorporating well-being next versus tobacco. Tobacco would probably be last because it's not a huge priority for us.
Yeah. Right. So. Okay, great. Yeah, and there's some things we can do, you know, just to incentivize people to be tobacco-free, do an affidavit and be tobacco-free, or maybe have someone work one-on-one with a health coach for tobacco cessation. So we can keep that as a small one-off piece for just those 3 or 4 that you've got who might have an issue with it. Okay, great. I really appreciate how much perspective you've shared with me about your bank and your employees, because that really helps me be able to show you how we adapt this thing to your group. If you know, that's given me a lot of perspective, more than I get from many groups. So thank you for that. Anything else before we kind of jump in? We're going to talk a little bit about WellSteps background, short and brief, and then we're going straight into how we make this successful for your employees.
The only thing I would tell you is that probably, well, it's been more than 5 years ago, we actually got the culprit and the cure for all of our employees when they started, and that was something that was given to them when they started, with a letter from our CEO and chairman that basically talked about, you know, the importance of, you know, being healthy and the impact on, you know, us as an organization and being able to be, you know, basically good citizens and community members. And I know, I'm sure Katie read it. I know I read it, and it was just, there was so much that resonated with me. And so that's why I was excited when I found you guys, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is the book, this is the guy, this is the place. And so we were excited to find this as an option. So we're excited to hear what you have to tell us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Culprit and the Cure is such an easy to understand, straightforward health promotion book that I really appreciate it. In fact, it was one of my off-reading textbooks when I was a student in health promotion. That's kind of how I found out about WellSteps, is I had to read that as one of the books that I had to kind of write a report on like 8 or 9 years ago when the book was somewhat new. And so I've been familiar with the book for a while. Love it. I've read it a few times just for work purposes as well as school purposes. And so I'm glad you've got that background. You've got that intimate knowledge of how our CEO kind of thinks about health promotion and how that kind of fuels WellSteps. So awesome. Well, because of that, you kind of know where we come from then a little bit. So we started in 2006 with our first platform. Now, our platform has always been geared towards these 2 health promotion perspectives that were developed by the Health Enhancement Research Organization, the Journal of Health Promotion. Many different organizations have pitched in to kind of develop this health promotion model, which isn't exclusively for work sites. It's something we've developed for work sites, essentially. So we use the RE-AIM model. So that is in terms of our communication. And impact comes into the AMSO model, but for businesses, we change that to policy instead of opportunity here. So what these 2 things do together so since 2006, our platform has focused on these 2 things. And these are the things that we can help you with to make that effective wellness program. Reach comes into play in that we've got to make sure every employee knows what, where, when, how, what's going on, and have them feel like this is an easy program. Impact comes into play where we start providing them the awareness of their health, some motivational tools, some skill building, and ultimately the opportunities to improve those behaviors. But for you, since you're a business, we change that to policy because you're the ones who create those opportunities at the work site. Together, these two things make an effective wellness program from a platform standpoint. There's things here that are missing, though, that you're going to help provide us to make this thing effective. So I don't, want to sugarcoat this and say, oh, we can completely solve your wellness problems. There's still some things that you're going to need to provide, things like senior leadership, making it fun on site. So making some of these things fun and talked about. You're going to need to take ownership of this program. So there's some things that you can do to make this even more impactful. But these are the two things that we bring to the table to make an effective wellness program from that standpoint. And what we know, for example, is we actually won the C. Everett Koop Award for the best wellness program in the U.S. with our client Boise School District. We did that because we showed those who used the platform effectively improve their participation and engagement, which led to improved behavior changes, risk reduction, and ultimately an excellent ROI. So we have peer-reviewed published evidence of the success of this programming with Boise School District, Salt Lake County Programs, Monterey County Schools Insurance Group. We've done this with a few other banking systems. Right now we're doing this with a large banking system in Montana called Glacier Bancorp. So we know what it takes to make this effective, so long as we have groups who are ready to make this partnership work well and we work on this together. So from that perspective, in order to make that work successfully, you are going to likely have, whether it's Katie or Stacy, whichever one of you, you're going to kind of be the lead point on this, or together be the lead point. We are going to give you a dedicated support agent. That's what we call a WellSteps guide. They use what's called a strategic roadmap to work with you to ensure that you have a successful program. So all these things that you just said to me, hey, we've done this one-off challenge, we've done this one-off thing, we did this incentive, we're going to centralize all that and make that a little easier to communicate to employees and make it so that they have a place or a home to figure out all the things that they can do. So all that heavy lifting in terms of programming this, sending out those communications, all of that is handled by us. You get to continue to be the idea people, the people who know your culture, who know what you want to see happen with your culture. And we'll, of course, give you feedback and reporting and say, okay, this is working, this isn't working. But we learn from you through this partnership, through the WellSteps guide, on what needs to be a part of our roadmap, what needs to be part of our strategy as we go forward. So that's a little bit of our background, how we start to build this partnership. And now we're ready to talk about, what it is that Reach is made up of, and then what it is that Impact is made up of on the platform itself. So before I go on, questions or comments about our background or how we kind of make this partnership first start to work?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Excellent. So in our platform, so meaning, on our browser or on our apps, we have a number of opportunities to communicate to your employees. And this is all completely tailored and customized to your organization. So I'm going to show you some examples, but keep in mind, it will be tailored and customized for you with your logos, color schemes, things like that. So first off, we can email, we can use text messages, we can use push notifications, social support programming, we can use kickoff meetings. We do live kickoff meetings via webinar. We bring all this together to give those employees the sense of what they can do, what they can accomplish, how to do it, and then the ability to communicate with each other as well through the platform. Now, the nice thing is, as I mentioned, is do you have a wellness committee right now, or is it just the two of you kind of running this thing?
We do have a wellness committee, yes.
Excellent. So hopefully they represent your 6 different locations, those employees, or maybe a few different departments like we see here. And they'll work with our WellSteps side and you to basically say, here's what we know a little bit about our branch, or here's what we know about our population, some things that we need, maybe some changes to, some adaptations. We want to have it be a little more bold, a little more forward in our messaging. So we can actually start to develop this messaging from all of these different lenses, whether they be push notifications or emails or push notifications or social support. We can start to have them reach specific people, departments, eligible versus non-eligible status. So maybe if, a lot of times that comes into play when we have unionized groups where some are eligible for some benefits, some aren't. Locations, health statuses, risk factors, or even down to the individual where they can communicate with each other. So this platform really can reach employees where they're at and with their needs. So to give you an example, this is an email that I get to remind me to do the therapeutic lifestyle change program. all the emails we have what's called an encrypted login, or some people refer to it as a single sign-on. Single sign-on is used across multiple platforms. This is just our platform, but really simply and easily, anytime employees get a message from us, this is just an example message, I can click go and it automatically logs me into my program center. So if it's an email, if it's a push notification, the same thing happens. It will automatically take you to the app or the browser and open that program for you. So you don't have to go to our website or our app and always have to log in with your username and password. You get a simple message from us that tells us what you can participate in. You click on the go button and you're logged into the system as you see here. So we'll get back to the platform in a minute. I just wanted to show you that easy communication that we can offer. And then the last thing when it comes to communication and making sure that we reach every employee where they're at is posters can be sometimes highly effective if you have break rooms at your branches, or if you have small kitchens in your branches. We can actually have some posters that you can hang up that employees can actually communicate. We can communicate with them that way to let them know, hey, this is what's coming up. As you can see here, maybe we're advertising that we're focusing on the culture and the culprit and the cure campaign. That's one of the things that we can advertise through these posters. And then lastly, any consideration for getting spouses involved? Is that something that you were hoping to accomplish or do?
I would say yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, obviously I think Katie and I both experienced that on different extremes, is when your spouse is engaged and wanting to make the changes that you're wanting to make. It definitely impacts your ability to be successful in lifestyle changes.
Yeah, definitely. So that's something we can offer as well, where spouses can have complete participation in the platform the same as the employee, or we can actually make it a little bit limited. So maybe you don't want to offer spouses the same incentives as employees, so we can actually mark the spouses and say, okay, have them participate in challenges and campaigns, but maybe don't offer them the same level of incentive. So those are some of the things that you can do to get spouse participation, but maybe not necessarily break your budget, if you know what I mean. Now, that is how we want to reach out to employees and let them know we're working with a new program. It's called the WellSteps. Easy, straightforward. That messaging is going to happen throughout the year. So we're going to remind them about activities they can do. We're going to remind them about different things they can learn about, education, skill building. All those things will continue to be marketed, but we use that platform to start to tell employees how to participate. We do a live kickoff meeting. After that live kickoff meeting, it's all about registering and starting to use the app and platform. So questions or comments about the communication strategy up to this point?
I don't believe so.
No.
It's good.
So let's go straight to the platform then. So one of the things, I've got an example of a platform for you here, sort of what we've set up that I can show you as an example for yours. But before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about registration. So we're going to build a landing page for you and your branches. Now, you can see our logo here, but that's something we can easily remove. This is just an example where we have, for one of our clients, City of Burley, they have roughly about the same amount of employees as you, about 88 employees, so a little bit more. But we build a custom landing page for them to say, okay, whenever there's a new employee or you need to remind someone on, what we're doing in this program, if they come to you at HR or something and they want some reminders, send them to wellsteps.com/centralbank or wellsteps.com/RCB if that's, something that you want to do, if that's your rebranding. Whatever it is, we're going to have them land here. Here's the recording of that live kickoff meeting we did. So it's our guide talking to your employees all about your program. It's not some generic video. It's about your employees. We're showing them your program center, how to participate, and then we encourage them to register. They click register. Very simple after that. Well, let me go back actually. If they are wanting access to our app, they can download our free app at any time, review our privacy policy so that they know that we keep all their information confidential and encrypted. They even get contact information for our WellSteps guide. So we're going to keep people away from you saying, oh, what's my password? We want to avoid that as much as we can for you. We want to make it so that employees know I need to reach out to Amanda or I need to reach out to Ed. They're the ones who are going to help me. Now, for employees, registering is really simple. They click register. They then are taken to this page where they can enter an employee email, which is a highly preferred method for security purposes. If not everyone has an employee email, or if you don't have an email for everyone on record, we can use an employee ID. Once they enter that information, they verify who they are through an authentication code sent to their email, and then they can then create their account where they verify their email or put in a personal email if they don't want to use a work email, create a password, create a username. and they immediately get to take our health assessment. So this registration process is meant to be simple and straightforward. Registration takes less than a minute. The personal health assessment is 34 questions long, based on the behavioral risk factor surveillance system. Very simple and straightforward. These questions are all about the employees and their behaviors, their attitudes, their feelings, their risk factors. It's not going to be about family history or anything like that. It is HIPAA compliant and EEOC compliant. This should take about 5 to 10 minutes. Here's an example of it on the computer. Here's an example of it on the app. Biometric screenings, is that something that you've done in the past or that you're looking into possibly doing? Because when we do biometric screenings, we can include that data. And when I say we do, meaning your organization, you can do them any way you'd like. We take that data and incorporate it into the platform so employees can see their real-time biometric data results, so they can actually see what their biometric data was on their last screening, if that's a risk factor, and they can get some information on that goes into their overall, oops, wrong screen here, that goes into their overall health report card grade, as you can see here with that biometric data. So have you considered doing biometrics? Is that something that you're hoping to do, or something that you're just kind of making as a optional? If employees do it, great. If not, no big deal.
I think we're very much interested in doing that. Obviously, we really haven't had that conversation with RCB if that's something that they're interested in doing. My guess would be very possibly, because like I said, since they are self-funded,
right,
it's all about figuring out ways to control costs, and anytime you can identify a risk factor early and try to address it is a good thing. So, if I had to venture a guess, I think they would support that. And I think that's kind of the direction we were wanting to go as well.
Yeah, so and it would work really well with your group. When you were on your old Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, the preferred way that we do this is we have employees go to their physician with a form like this. So this is called screening reminder. We would add some more information to this about, what sort of specific screenings we'd want an employee to get, whether that be blood glucose, as you can see here, lipid screening. They take it to their physician, and the physician gives us the data, signs it, and then the employee sends it back to us, and then we can get that data into our system. Now, when you're fully insured, that's the best way, because the ACA covers a free screening every year. When you're self-funded, you have to cover that screening yourselves. Legally, you have to allow it, but you have to cover that screening yourself. So many groups choose the on-site screening, or what's called the lab screening, because it's much more cost-effective. So for a group like yours, you have to have at least 20 employees per location to do an on-site screening. So that might not work for every branch. But what you can do is you can send them to a lab. There's 2,000 plus labs around the US, LabCorp labs. They do a simple blood screening. It costs you $45 per employee, typically, is around the cost for your group size. And then that data will be sent back to us through our LabCorp partner called eHealth Screenings. And then we will give that data to the employee, as you see here in this screenshot. So real simple and easy to do. I guess it comes down to, what do you want to accomplish as an organization, and what sort of budget dollars do you want to go? A biometric screening every single year isn't as effective as maybe one every couple of years, because we're just trying to use it as an awareness tool. It doesn't change behavior. It just helps employees be aware of their risk factors, and us have data on your employees to start reaching out to them with specific programs. So any other questions or comments on that screening process?
I don't believe so at this point.
Okay. So let's get here into your program center. Now we're going to start talking about the fun tools, the way this thing works live in real time. So I just finished my health assessment. I see I have a health report card grade of an A. I can get feedback on a number of different areas, things that are telling me, hey, here's some things that maybe you want to work on, or a good place to start. Smoking, call this 1-800-QUIT number. Whole grains, great job, you're doing a good job. And then we give them some fun facts about some of the things that if they're doing well. Now, the nice thing about our system is this is really step one in identifying who and how we want to work with them on a health perspective level. So if they have an A grade or more, we're going to prompt them to set a goal in MyTracker. So set a goal in MyTracker. They click on this button. It takes them to this tool that we call MyTracker, where they can set exercise goals. So you can see here, I have an exercise goal. It should say that I'm shooting for 5 miles a week, but for some reason that's not showing right here. But I track that with MyFitnessPal, and that pulls my data into the system for me. So that's a really nice feature. Any fitness device that your groups might have, Fitbit, Garmin, Apple Watch, Google Fit. So those are like all your Android-based devices. We're adding Strava and S Health. Employees can sync that device to the system, so when they set an exercise goal, it's tracked for them. They can also set their own goals for diet. So they can set a goal for calorie intake, ounces of water, fruit servings, vegetable servings, etc. So those are all things from the health assessment, as well as my own thing where employees can set a goal like I have here for sleep, but they can also set a goal for weight or set a goal. So if I were to end this, it would give me an option to set a number of different types of goals completely customized to me. Then I can manage my goals at any time. So I can see here that I can see how my progress has been for sleep. I haven't tracked it at all. But let's go to where I did previously, such as calf raises. So I can go here and see, oh, when I did this goal, I did a pretty good job at it, and I can track my progress there over any past goals that I've done as well. So any questions or comments on this My Tracker tool? So this is essentially where employees will sync their fitness data. Now we're going to use this data all over the platform, and I'll show you those in a minute. But questions or comments on setting goals based on that health assessment?
So I just to clarify, so I see here under your exercise, it's syncing with a device, like on your sleep and stuff. Can it sync with the device as well, or not necessarily?
Yeah, so we can pull in sleep data. It's just that not every device has sleep data. So we don't make that we don't make that one as a sync here. If that's a requirement for your program, hey, everybody here has sleep data. We want to track sleep data. We can easily get that set up. But as of right now, the only data we're pulling, so if I show you here, the only data we're pulling from every device is steps, minutes, active calories, and miles. And you can change that to kilometers if you want to for miles. So these are the data points we pull. Some groups ask about, oh, can we pull every single dietary thing? Our focus at WellSteps is simplicity. Employees know what they're eating, but the problem is tracking that in an app is so complex that it takes time and usually is not long lasting. So the reason why our dietary stuff focuses on basically macro foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, is because those are very easy to remember when you've accomplished them. And the data shows that the more you eat whole foods, the less likely you are eating higher calorie processed foods. So that's kind of our focus on when it comes to tracking diet, is push out the bad with the good kind of thing.
Yep, makes sense.
So, but that's just a simple tool, right? So this is a simple tool that allows employees to set goals based off of the health assessment. Now we're going to start talking about some even deeper programming to where we can say, okay, yeah, we can set some goals, but what can they do with those goals? What's going to teach them about those goals? Well, for anyone with a B or a C grade, or we can even apply it by specific grade here, we can actually have them do what's called our TLC program. So specific to the individual. Now, right now, I just want to make you aware, it's showing in English and Spanish. We're currently updating all of our modules to include some more Spanish because everything on our platform is available in English and Spanish. So our coding right now is displaying both, but when your employees are in it, it will actually just show either English or Spanish depending on the language they choose. Now, here I am. This program is all about the underlying behaviors. This is sort of like Culprit and the Cure on steroids. It's called TLC, based on the Coronary Health Improvement Program. Each module teaches an employee a new basically behavior or lifestyle change that they can adopt based on certain categories. So we have why a person should change, food makeovers, how to prepare, it's easy to eat healthy, so that's food preparation, how to get moving, and then a healthy lifestyle for life. So these are things like stress management, weight, things like that. Now, I'm on this module as an employee. I can see I've obviously completed the other modules. I'm going to click here. Can't go to this one, but if I click on this one here, it takes me immediately into my module. I've been prompted to do this because of my risk factors. So I'm going to click on the video because that's what it's wanting me to do first, to watch the video. So here I'm going to watch a little bit of it.
What does a diet high in processed food do to your cholesterol, blood pressure, and glucose? A diet high in processed foods, which has more unhealthy fats, leads to higher levels of cholesterol. Fat just begs you to eat it. On the flip side, if you eat food close to its natural form, your risk of high cholesterol will be lower.
About 1 in 3 American adults have high blood pressure, and most don't know it. Blood pressure is a key indicator of overall health. Lots of dietary salt can lead to higher blood pressure. Fat intake is also closely linked with high blood pressure. Those who limit their intake of fat, especially saturated fat, tend to have lower blood pressure. So
I just wanted you to see a little bit of that video so you can get an idea of our programming. With our TLC program, all the videos are quite a bit longer than what we call a campaign video, which you're going to see later. The reason why is that this video, I jumped to the middle of it, but we're going in the background of what makes a good diet, what's natural food, what's processed food, and then at the end, we teach them how to use our free app which is called the Stop and Go Grocery Guide. This grocery guide teaches employees how to shop healthier on the go. So when they're at the grocery store, am I picking up this bag of frozen vegetables? Is that considered healthy or not? It's not fresh, but it's frozen. And so we start to teach them a little bit about all the different foods that they might consume in their home and what's healthy. And then that video ends with teaching them how to effectively use this app in their daily shopping or in their weekly shopping. And so then we start to teach them what are they regularly buying by having them search their kitchen for whole foods or processed foods. We have them learn a little bit more about their fiber. So those are the tasks that they need to complete. And then they need to do some journaling about what they learned from going through their kitchen and what they learned about whole grains or what they're doing to improve that. Then they take a quiz on processed foods or natural foods. And that's real simple, straightforward programming. When I complete that module, I can move on to the next one until I've completed them all as an employee, which has been shown, the Coronary Health Improvement Program has been shown to be one of the most effective health promotion programs there is for those struggling with risk factors.
I have a quick question about the videos.
Yeah.
I saw it said YouTube. Are those embedded, or is it taking you to the site to pull that? Because I'm just thinking in terms of, I think pretty much that's locked down here. You can't access that through the bank, and I know it's probably more locked down through RCB than it is even here.
So it is embedded. The nice thing is that anyone on their phone, so it should work on their phone.
Right.
And that's the reason why we use YouTube embedded videos, because YouTube is universal across all devices. We do have another option. So it's not showing here, but it says if you can't view this video, click here. And then we can turn that on so that when an employee clicks here, it will take them to a flash video that's also embedded. The reason why we don't make that the priority, because many groups, do limit YouTube, even though it is embedded, sometimes it's still blocked. And so we offer a flash video, is that for devices, Apple does not allow flash videos. And so that's the reason we use YouTube.
Makes sense.
Universal. Great. Any other questions or comments there?
Don't think so.
All right. So all of that programming was simply done by having them do their 5 registration and health assessment. And then they got the opportunity to engage in some specific programs for them. Now let's talk about our overall program and what we're going to use, as a culture change strategy. So here we are. For the most part, every time an employee clicks on that go button, they're going to be here in our program center. And each week, they're going to see some different tasks that they can engage in each week. Some of them are going to be more educational. Some of them will be more fun. So you can see I have 3 tasks this week that I need to do. One of them is act on a tip on wellness news you can use. So when I click on this, it takes me to wellness news you can use, where I can actually review a number of different health videos, articles on so many different subjects. We've got basically articles for anyone at your organization or videos. They can watch these, they can read these, and we prompt them to do one of the tips that they learn in any one of these articles or any one of these videos that they check out. So that's one of the things that they might get engaged to do. We also might engage them to do a different campaign, etc. But the focus of these steps is to have employees use these tools across the top, which are going to range from incentive tools, engagement tools with each other, competitive tools, health assessment tools, etc. So each week when I get a new step, it might be a very simple, straightforward read an article. It might even be just one step that says, do my tasks for Veggie Up like I do here. It takes me here immediately to Veggie Up, where I can participate and do those tasks. And we'll talk more about Veggie Up in a minute. But that programming is what makes this so simple for employees. When they're on their app, so let me show you here. If they're on their app, they can actually see at any time the exact same programming that you see on the computer as I'm showing you here. So here I am in that program center. I see my steps. So the app is completely integrated with this online program center as well. Now, these steps make it easy for employees to know what to do each week. Rather than navigating through each one of these things, they know what to do each week. Now, some of the other nice tools about this is that we will brand this for you with your logo, with your color scheme. Company message is a completely dynamic and customized opportunity for you to send messages out to your employees from senior leadership. Maybe it's a message that tells them about events you have coming up, and we can actually have them sign up for them directly in our calendar. So you announce an event, then they can sign up for them in our calendar. Here you can see I can sign up for a screening event, even though it's closed, so I can't register for that. But there's other events that are happening throughout the month. You'll get to set up events that people can sign up for. You can even announce, hey, here's a recipe that we liked, and you can take them to our recipe section. So that's something for you as senior leadership to kind of advertise to employees things that they might want to do. Now, away from that and some of our other tools, our social support program is one of our more powerful tools in terms of getting employees involved. So this is our social support program. where employees can share stories of success with each other. You can see I shared a story of success of my wife and I doing the Spudman Triathlon this weekend. So that's us after we finish the race, fighting our medals. And then there's other comments on here that people can share with each other, workouts. We can see different ideas, goals, recipes, etc. So employees only within your company can share with each other some of the things that they're doing and that they're being successful in their wellness programming. The other nice thing about this program is employees can directly compete with each other. So all the while they're doing TLC or learning about their health, they can actually have some fun competing with each other. So I can see here who's done the most amount of steps or who's done the most amount of minutes. So for the month, if I were to see who's got the most amount of steps, it's me. I can see, or excuse me, for the week, this is the month. So I can see I've got the most amount of steps for the month. And then how about for the beginning of the year? That's me as well, but that's because I'm the only user. But I can see here other employees that are in the company, whether they're participating or not. Now, every employee has to elect to be in this program. They're not automatically in it, so that's nice. And this is all from fitness device data. So it's real track data. It's not self-reported data, which is something that many groups really like so that people can compete a little bit more honestly. A third feature we're adding to this is employees have the opportunity to actually challenge each other on their own. Rather than the whole company, they can actually challenge up to 30 other employees to do specific challenges with them, maybe dietary challenges, sleep challenges, the opportunity to do exercise challenges with each other with fitness devices and actually message each other, excuse me, directly in those challenges. So that's a feature we're adding. It will be added this quarter along with these other social tools. So any questions or comments about our main Program Center page before we look at some of the other specific tools that we offer?
I don't think so.
Great. So one of the things that we do to accompany that TLC program, we actually offer group-based campaigns and challenges. So, we can do one-off challenges on our own in this social support program, and we can do TLC on our own, but we want to do some things that are group-based. So we have group-based campaigns and challenges where you can see here we have over 30 campaigns, personal fitness campaigns, healthy eating campaigns, healthy lifestyle campaigns, emotional health campaigns, and some other campaigns and programs such as financial fitness or tech timeout. You get to completely decide when you want to do these campaigns, how you want to do them. We offer you 3 campaigns per year, and then we have over 50 challenges that you can do at any time per year. So challenges are a little different. They're just focusing on 2 weeks at a time, saying there's a behavior we want to cut out. Like you mentioned earlier, hey, we want to drink more water. We have employees watch a video on each challenge and then track it. So we can offer challenges and campaigns. Campaigns are more group-based, and they're more holistic in terms of a concept. So we might focus on personal fitness as a concept and teach them things for each one, or healthy eating as a concept and teach them about vegetable consumption or how to shop healthier on the go or how to eat fast food that's healthy. We can also do all these other types of campaigns such as healthy lifestyle and emotional health. But the goal of these campaigns and challenges is just simply to teach employees together as a whole. So as a company, what can we focus on that's going to help improve our company health? So for example, I've got Veggie Up running. Veggie Up is a campaign that teaches employees all about vegetable consumption, how to get vegetables in easily. So I'm in week 5 right here. I can see that. I'm going to watch this quick video a little bit about salads, and then we'll go from there.
This week, you'll learn how to turn some basic meals you probably already make into delicious veggie-rich dishes. Let's focus on salad. Most salads include wimpy lettuce and maybe some shredded carrots and diced tomatoes. Pfft, that's not salad. What a missed opportunity to load up with veggie goodness. So let's do a salad makeover. First, the lettuce. Never use iceberg, which is mostly water. Instead, use a richer green leafy vegetable like romaine lettuce or spinach. Second, the add-ins. Remember, there are more nutrients in more colorful salads. So why not add some red or green peppers, red or green onions, snap peas, carrots, celery, mushrooms, Roma tomatoes, broccoli, cucumber, or... well, you get the idea. Add anything including fruits, nuts, and seeds. You can buy some vegetables at the store and prepare them as soon as you get home. Wash, then chop them up. Store the chopped veggies in some plastic containers. Easy peasy. Then when you want salad, just open the containers and toss stuff into a bowl. Add a little light salad dressing and bam, you've got a meal. Quick, simple, and tasty. Your task this week is to buy some veggies, chop them up, and make at least one extraordinary salad this week. You got this.
So that's not necessarily rocket science, but we're just trying to teach simple, easy behaviors where employees learn about that. They can also, this week, So the task is to watch the video, or they can actually say, using this list, they can also do some other types of vegetables. So they can actually say, hey, I mean, not vegetables, meals. So they can do omelets or barbecue dishes. And then they can also create their own recipe, or they can go to our recipe program to incorporate any of these types of vegetables. So we just want it to be super simple for them to improve their vegetable intake. Just do one thing this week. Make a vegetable heavy dish in a salad or with an omelet or with barbecue, and then let us know how it went. So simple, straightforward programming. That's what we do to help improve behaviors. Questions or comments about campaigns or challenges?
So you said you provide 3 campaigns per year. How many challenges did you say?
Yeah, unlimited challenges. Typically, we do about 1 a month. So campaigns are a big cultural effort. The reason why we only do 3 is because we want to give people a break in between campaigns. We want it to be, something that's always focused on, hey, in a couple months we're going to be doing this program, and talked about in the meantime we're doing challenges kind of whenever you want.
Okay.
So let's look at our last tool. Now, this is the tool that brings everything together, called rewards. Everything that your employees are doing, we're going to encourage you to offer them some points to earn some incentives. So everything that they can do, both in the app itself, or on their own, we're going to give them opportunities to earn points. Now, let me point out this perspective. This is completely customized to your organization. So I'm showing you 5 categories here. We could actually set these up to be the categories that you have for that Well Kansas organization. So we can actually have a food and beverage category, a tobacco category, a physical activity category, and a well-being category. And inside each of these categories, we can actually have employees do different activities that would fulfill some of the requirements or some of the expectations of what might happen in each one of those categories. So, for example, we could offer in the food and beverage category, we could say complete the H2O challenge, and then we'll have a link to that challenge and when that challenge starts directly there. So anything that happens in our system will be automatically tracked for employees. So for example, here for physical activity, anything that they do in terms of minutes of exercise or steps or miles, we can actually automatically track it for them, and it will check off for them when they've earned those points in the system. So you can see here I've already automatically earned 36 points based on that My Tracker data that I showed you earlier. So when we sync that fitness device on My Tracker, it also earns us points here in rewards. So I also have some activities where I have to go on my honor. So for example, I did a stress management technique this month. I earn those points for on your honor. So that may be a limitation, but there's another way we can do things, such as answering a quiz question. So for example, here, I attended the Healthy Habits Lunch and Learn this month. They need to answer a quiz question in order to earn those points. So that's another way we can do it. We can also have employees actually watch a video and take a quiz. So for example, here, if you want them to learn a little bit more about sleep, we can actually have them go here to learn about the Sweet Dreams Quizio. They watch this video, they take a quiz on it, and then they automatically earn points and rewards for that once they've completed it and done it accurately. One last thing we do to verify that employees have actually done these activities is having them submit proof of completion. So we can have people submit proof of completion for just about anything. So this is one example here. This is going and doing my annual physical or my on-site screening. So we would track that for them if it's an on-site screening. If they go to their physician, then they check this activity off and they upload maybe an EOB, or maybe we can have them upload a form that we've given them with data. When they upload that, they upload it into the system really easily. They select a file from their computer. From there, they can also, if they're using their phone, which is way easier, they just check off that activity on their phone, and it turns on their phone's camera to take a picture of that form. So we can have a picture of themselves at a local 5K wearing their race bib, volunteering at a local organization, any sort of affidavit that you want to have them have signed by a physician or a dentist, or getting a flu shot or an EOB. They can upload that and earn points for that for these different categories, and it's completely customized for you. You get to decide the points. The activities will work with you to decide what's best for your population. You also get to decide what prizes you want to offer. So right now I'm offering 3 different prize levels, but you can actually say, hey, for bronze level, if you get to bronze, you get a paid day off. If you get to silver, you get 2 paid days off. So those are some ways that we can make this more benefit-based programming. You can offer activities and prizes like I show you here, running shoes, Visa gift cards, maybe you offer a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, whatever that might be. We can completely customize this for your organization. You can offer these 3 prize levels, or you could offer just 1. You could offer, we also have platinum and diamond, so if you wanted to offer 5 prize levels, you could. A lot of in-depth comprehensive programming. And all this is tied together. So when I'm doing campaigns, when I'm doing this social program, when I'm doing TLC, when I'm doing things on my own, I earn points for that in this system. And that's where my prizes come from. That's what makes this system come together. We've given them awareness. We've given them motivation through their incentives. We've given them skill building through campaigns and challenges and TLC. And now we're giving them opportunities as well through your organization and through the platform. And that's what makes this effective for employees. So questions, comments, things that we can go back over when it comes to the platform.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Great. One last thing I'll show you here at the end, and we'll wrap it up, and I'll give you some pricing. But you as administrators get your own platform as well, where you can download your own reports at any time. You can train, watch some videos about how to train your committee, how to grow senior leadership support, etc. So we want to give you as many empowered tools as we can to make your organization more successful. Audit your culture, make sure you're compliant with your program initiatives. But the nice thing is you get to download all of your own reporting, and we'll even push some of it to you. For example, our annual reports will push to you if you don't download them yourselves, in terms of employee outcomes that get achieved throughout the year, different incentive levels that were achieved throughout the year, testimonials over each campaign or challenge that you did, participation in the health assessment for each campaign, what the participation, engagement, and completion level was for each campaign, testimonials for each campaign. For your My Tracker program, how many total exercise goals were set? How many total dietary goals were set? How many social stories were shared? Participation year over year as you participate in the program. Every single month, we'll give you an update on your reporting as well. So we'll say up to this point on this month, this is how many users have participated. This is your risk stratification breakdown from those on-site screenings. Here's how many employees have done set an exercise goal for the month or have done at least one rewards activity for the month. So again, we make sure that employees have an easy, straightforward, effective program, and that you have the reporting and analysis to say, yes, this is easy. Yes, it is effective, and we are enjoying it as an organization. So when working with WellSteps, what we talked about today is a program that's evidence-based, simple and engaging. It's customizable to your group. We know it improves employee health based on that data that I showed you up front with Boise School District. It's nice to know that you could have an award-winning partner in WellSteps. And then all of this, everything we just talked about, you may think, how do we plan this? How do we organize this? That's not your responsibility. That's our responsibility through the WellSteps Guide to give you a program that's ready to go, that's customized and unique to your organization. So that is WellSteps and how we would love to work with your group. And hopefully there's some opportunities there as you see it now. In terms of costs and how we set this up for your group, so everything we talked about today is what we call the WellSteps Foundations program. Because of your group size, the per employee per month is a little bit more expensive. It's $5 per employee per month for your 78 employees. As you grow it to the amount that you have with RCB, then we're looking more like $2.95 or $2.75 per employee per month. But for this starting out group, we have some minimum costs. So we are looking at $5 per employee per month for this program for everything that we talked about today.
There's no initial cost setting up programming or anything like that. It's all just per employee. There's no extra.
Yeah, great. Sorry, I left that out. Great question. So we do have a one-time to build your program, and that's $1,000. So to set up your program and build it, it's a one-time setup fee. You never pay it again, and it's $1,000.
Do you provide support every year to the committee to set up that programming year after year for continuing it?
Yeah, you get that WellSteps guide. You get that WellSteps guide assigned to you, and they're with you throughout the year, year to year. So they might meet with you on a monthly basis, depending on how often you want to meet with your committee. They might meet with you on a quarterly basis, and they'll say, "Hey, here's the programs we did. Here's what's successful. Here's what not." So they're with you, planning and analyzing your program throughout the entire year and the years to come.
Okay. At one point, you mentioned just in your discussing that employees can meet with their health coach.
Yeah.
Is that a service?
Yeah, thank you for asking about that. So we do what's called integrated health coaching, and sometimes it comes in naturally and sometimes I leave it out. So I apologize on that. Integrated health coaching is essentially saying, if you want to do health coaching, the best model to do health coaching is to employees who have risk factors, who have behaviors that they want to change, are willing to share their data, and are willing to work with a health coach. So those are the things that come together. If they hit all those criteria, then we offer them health coaching. Because of that, that's a very small population of people who both have risk factors, who are willing to share their data and are willing to share work with a health coach. So we typically see about a 1 to 2% participation rate. So we could set up health coaching for anyone who uses tobacco. We could reach out to them to see if they want health coaching. And if they don't, then you don't have to worry about it. But health coaching is paid for on a participation basis. We do a health coaching module program that's 6 weeks long, has about 7 to 8 sessions over those 6 weeks. It's all telephonic, and that's $150 per program that an employee does. If they drop out before they complete the program, then we just charge $30 per session that they did do.
Okay.
But again, health coaching is sort of, the way we look at it is we're trying to teach a classroom of students and help them improve and learn about their life. Health coaching is for those 1 or 2 students who are struggling to keep up with the class or need a little extra help. That's the way we look at health coaching. It's not something that is very effective or cost effective for your entire population. We want to focus it just on those small groups of individuals who hit those criteria.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments there?
I don't think anything's coming to me at the moment. And you guys, so I would assume there's so much out there that year after year we're not going to end up within 3 years repeating the exact same activities or programs.
Yeah, no, I mean, there will be some activities that you repeat year to year because they're things that are maybe fundamental. Maybe you want employees to always do their dental exam every year. So that's
right.
Repeat every year. But yeah, in terms of campaigns, in terms of challenges, there's so many options that it'll take you 7 or 8 years to repeat. You might want to repeat some just because they're simply fun. Some of these programs are just simply fun. You want to do every year in September because it was so fun to exercise and compete with each other and see the teams. You know what I mean? So we have some programs like that maybe you want to do every year. But yeah, you could go 7 or 8 or 9 years before you even have to repeat a single program that's already planned for you.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I think not at this point.
Excellent. Well, is there anything else I can provide you after our webinar today to kind of help you in evaluating kind of what your options are?
Just curious, do you guys have like a sandbox site where people can actually go in and just kind of see the functionality and what it looks like, or no, that's not something you guys have? Or
yeah, definitely. I've got a link I can send you, and then that way you can go in and use it. You can access that link on your phone or on your computer, so that way you can use the app or not. You will have to download the app if you want to use it on the app, though.
okay.
Could you provide us kind of maybe something we could have to present to upper management, maybe of your pricing, your estimate of pricing for our institution?
Yep, I definitely can. So I've got I'll send you a couple of great things. I'll send you a login link. I'll send you a proposal that summarizes what we talked about today with our pricing. And then I'm going to keep the pricing focused on your central bank unless you want me to include something for your RCB.
No, I think it's fine for now.
Central, yep.
And then from there, I'll just reach back out to you in a couple of weeks just to kind of see where you're at, see how it's been going, talking to upper management, and what you thought of the, sampling the program.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, Stacy, Katie, thank you both so much for your time today, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.